Hey there.
Hey. Hey, pretty.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm going to have to bring back...
Oh, God. Oh. Well, welcome to Insert Coin Theater. This is episode
Saturday
19.
Night.
Episode 19. We're 19 episodes in, man.
I
That's a
feel
lot of
only like
episodes.
I'm 13.
Well, you act like you're 13.
Shut up. I have a birth defect. It means I'm 13 forever.
Oh, are you? I don't know either. So, welcome to Insert Coin Theater.
Live from New York City, it's Saturday night.
No, George. Wrong show.
I quit. I thought this was SNL, dude.
You would never make it on SNL.
No,
you are not funny enough.
I'm not funny at all.
No, you're pretty funny.
Thanks.
You're funny looking, at least.
Well, see, now you guys will get to see how funny looking I am.
Oh, yeah. FYI, we're going to be on YouTube this episode.
See? It feels good,
Yeah,
doesn't
it does. It is nice. So, yeah, this episode will be also uploaded on our YouTube channel, which is insert... you can go to insertcointheater.com, and there's a little YouTube link in the top.
God.
Or you can go to youtube.com/c/insertcointheater.com.
Oh, that's
Hi-yo.
.com for
Yes.
people who don't know letters.
But don't actually put .com.
You
gotta
actually,
put
it's
.com. Yeah, you actually have to spell it out.
Oh, my gosh.
That's why you use the link on our site,
That's why we
insertcointheater.com.
have no friends.
Yeah, well.
We're too complicated.
We are very complicated. So,
It's
welcome to
insane.
episode 19. We got some happy fun times for you. And
Yeah.
hi, Internet.
Wee, Internet.
Buy a shirt.
You can't buy this one. It's limited.
Tell them what your shirt is.
This is the Hero of Time Legend of Zelda shirt of awesomeness.
Yes, it's got Link on the front.
It's got all the 6 medallions from the sages.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
so. And then or
Medallions.
oracles? Is it oracles or sages?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm
And then-
losing all my cred right now.
Yeah, I know. And then it says Hero of Time and a banner at the bottom. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Arcade block, people. That's where it's from.
sweet.
It's awesome.
So, all right. So we've got a good show. We're going to be talking. Today is a Nintendo Day,
Yeah.
which is why it's awesome that you're wearing that shirt.
See? I come prepared.
Well, I come prepared all the time. I've got this
I'm
insertcointheater.com shirt,
I'm not rich like it.
which I'm hoping to do a new run soon.
Oh, you hear that guy's new run?
Uh,
We're all going to be running.
yeah, run away. It's Insert Coin
Exactly.
Theater.
Run away from your computers.
Flee. So, well, we're going to be talking about a lot of Nintendo stuff, like Virtual Console, Nintendo vs. Sony a little bit, and the
Uh-oh.
handhelds. Nintendo,
Oh
how
my
they can
God,
improve.
that just made me think of an awesome game.
What game?
Imagine, you know how Nintendo has Smash Bros. And then PlayStation has PlayStation All-Stars?
Yeah,
Mashup.
Smash Bros. Vs. All Stars,
That would
like
be
they did with like
savage.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Exactly.
Ooh, that would
Tell
be
me that would
wicked.
be awesome.
That would be wicked.
Yep. Oh, God.
Wouldn't you
Crota,
love to
or not Crota, Kratos.
Kratos versus Marth?
That would be awesome.
Or could you imagine Mr. Game & Watch versus Sackboy?
That would be sweet.
That would be amazing. I
Make
would
it
love to see
happen.
that.
It'll never happen, but it would be
Nintendo,
awesome.
Sony, join forces.
Yeah.
We command
or
it.
just somebody make it online and send that link to me so I can play it, because it sounds incredible.
It sounds amazing. So we also have a song today, and the internet can
Today
see
we
I
have a
in my
song.
tablet. Yeah, we have a chiptune from the artist
Actually play music.
Zigauche.
Zigauche.
Yes, he's an artist from the UK, and we are going to be
UK.
extremely excited to hear the song Sonic Doodling.
Sonic Doodling.
Yeah, so we'll be hearing that later on in the show. So why don't we begin?
Insert Coin Theater.
Hey, George.
Hey, Tim.
What's up? Hi, Internet.
Internet. Hey.
Hi, YouTube.
What's up with you, Internet?
Yay. So exciting.
I know, man.
Yeah, we finally got the equipment to actually make this happen.
It's exciting and scary at the same time.
Well, it's just scary to be seeing us.
Exactly.
That's the
what I'm
scary
saying.
part. Yeah.
How many down thumbs are we gonna get?
1 million.
I can't wait to see the comments.
If you're listening to the show, please leave horrible comments for us.
Let's see how many comments to take, or how many comments there is before somebody says how fat I am.
Well,
I'm voting 3.
You're voting
3 comments.
I'm going to say the first one.
Yes. Oh my god!
We'll
It's just
do
gonna
that.
careen down.
Well, but my favorite thing is I'm just going to respond with every negative comment with a smiley face and say thanks.
Perfect.
Like, thanks. That's how it's going to be.
You noticed?
You actually watched 5 seconds of our show?
Exactly.
Thanks.
That's already more than if they just watch 30 seconds and just say he's fat and leave. That's a view, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I'll
right.
take it.
That goes on our analytics, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna be super pro.
Get us those views. Call him fat.
Exactly. Please, whatever it takes. We just need the views.
So
I'll take the punishment.
So I guess we can roll into our first topic. We're gonna be talking again. We're gonna be talking Nintendo this episode.
Wii, Nintendo, I love you.
Wii U.
No,
Wii.
No, I don't love you. Wii U.
Wii U. Wii U. Wii U.
Wii U. Wii U. Wii U.
That reminds me of Kung Pao Enter the Fist. You remember that movie?
Is that the one where he had like the beaver nunchucks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he'd go for chucks, and he uses the go for nunchucks.
Oh, that's what they're
for
called.
chucks.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he has like the face on the tongue and everything.
The face on the tongue.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Is that was like his power was the face, the thing on his tongue.
That's weird. I don't remember that.
The whole movie was weird, dude. Why would you say that's weird? It's a freaking weird movie.
That reminds me of Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Fu Hustle was a good movie.
Amazing.
You know what another good movie is? Shaolin Soccer.
Yes,
I love Shaolin Soccer.
So good.
Oh, so good.
I don't know how. Oh man. See, I feel like that movie had just the right amount of comedy and action, like, because it went from like really funny but it could be serious as well and still be enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
You know, without it just being too campy.
Oh,
really good fight scenes.
It was full of camp though.
That's
a great movie.
That's what you look for in that, you know.
Yeah, well, definitely. All right, well, our first topic
it's like
is
nude nuns with big guns.
Oh my god! I never
Classic
thought.
movie, guys. Check that out.
I never thought that would be mentioned again, much less on our show. Oh man! Don't tell.
That was a good time,
we're
man.
We're supposed to be PG-13, man.
Hey, we can use the word nude and gun
and nun.
Exactly. See?
Nude nuns with big guns. That movie
was so funny.
That was
so funny.
The most ridiculous movie.
What you guys need to do is have a couple beers and then watch nude nuns with big guns.
Oh man!
Thank you, Netflix.
I remember you messaged me and you were like, dude, check out Netflix right now. Nude nuns with big guns. I was like, no way. That can't be a thing. Guys, that's a thing. I just want you to know. It's a thing. It exists and it's a thing. I don't know if it's still on Netflix.
Probably not.
Oh man.
They probably had to burn like every copy.
Well, we had no choice. When you've got a title like that,
you can't pass it up.
Why would you?
That's just like it's like a car accident. You don't want to look, but
it's like
nuns with big guns.
It's like an amusement park ride that says this is a train wreck and you will get killed.
You're gonna
like,
die. Look, please.
Well, that sounds kind of interesting. Let's go check it out. Yeah,
I'll watch these people ride.
Yeah, more or less.
Nude nuns with big guns, guys. Check it out.
How many?
I
you want to keep
recommend
plugging that one for the rest of the episode?
It's gonna be. I give it 10 nude guns out of 7.
Hey man, we can't talk about nude guns. It's crossing the line.
Oh god, sorry.
This is America.
PG.
This is America.
PG.
This is America.
America.
All right.
Love guns.
Topics. Let's discuss something gaming. Let's get off the topic of
big guns. All right.
Yeah, let's get off of that topic. All right, so our first topic is: do you think Nintendo Virtual Console is underutilized, and could it have been the revolution of sorts in terms of console gaming that, I mean, I know you and I have been waiting for?
Yeah.
And also, do you think Sony takes the right approach? So let's break that down. First, do you think Nintendo Virtual Console is underutilized?
I don't even know how to really answer this question. I don't even know what more would you even want out of it?
Well, just
like you can get a lot of stuff, right?
Well, just take a look at the current emulation scene. Like every game that ever came out on the NES and SNES can be pirated in seconds with no real challenge.
Mm-hmm.
They could really have capitalized on that and put massive libraries of their games out there.
Yeah,
and made money off them, so people wouldn't pirate them.
You just want more content. You mean?
Well, it's underutilized. They could have taken their entire back catalog of games, every game that they've put out, and they could have put it on Virtual Console, but they didn't. I mean, they put some really good ones. Don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of them that
Maybe they just feel like some of the stuff won't make as much money as some of the mainstream stuff.
But it doesn't cost them anything to put it out there.
I know, but I mean, like, if they, I don't know if they'd want to even bother with it if they're not going to make very much from it.
I mean, that's a good point, but then again, why wouldn't you just do it just to see if you even make $10 off it? It didn't cost you that much to put it out there. I mean, the hosting costs alone are negligible. I mean, an NES game is like 50 KB. They're tiny.
Mm-hmm. But imagine how many downloads they get out of the mainstream titles compared to Booger Flicker 7. You know,
all the more reason to put it out there.
I mean, I guess they should, but I mean, that's a lot, man. There's a lot of content, and I'm sure there's a ton of it that nobody really cares to have again. You know?
Most games are part of people's childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Ben Burns, that unicycle racing game, Uniracers.
Mm-hmm.
We had never heard of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on now. Come on.
Yes, that's true. Man,
No offense,
I feel like it
but
would be oversaturated.
that's like one of those games. But if they had a better way of organizing the games, like into having most popular and then having like each genre, or you can, I mean, I know they have some sorting options, like you can sort by console and things like that. Why not? I mean,
well, how many obscure titles are you actually even going to be looking for? You know, when your childhood, you're going to be looking for the games that you remember playing. I'm sure you didn't play a ton of, you know, Kitty Jumper 7 on the NES or whatever, you know. You're going to be looking for the ones that everybody likes and that you like. There's because they went through that whole phase where, like, they were making so many games. That
they were just spewing games out for a while.
Like,
and I guess
that's
a fair point, but why they even avoid some of their own IPs, like Pokemon? They don't have the old, like, Pokemon Red and Blue out there. Yeah. And I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
I guess I could. Well, then I guess I would say it's maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
You know, I'm sure more content isn't a bad thing.
No,
you know,
and
you can't.
It's just they got to make sure they keep on top of making it sortable, searchable, easy to find stuff. And I mean, they could easily go through and have like a super deal where it's like 10 cents for an old crummy game, and they'd still be making a lot of money, and just do like a highlight of a really old crummy game, kind of like we do on Retro Rewind. And they're not necessarily all crummy, but the idea is that you'd get a lot of exposure for older games that might not be very well remembered, but, you know, kind of popular now.
And another way I got to look at it, too, is in the long haul of them having that stuff on there, it's going to die down, you know. There's going to be a few people who look for those more obscure titles, and then it's just going to sit there, and then they're going to have all this content they're having to keep up, you know, for everyone. If they're not making money, they're trying to get the most money they can in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to put 50,000 games and, you know, those just sit there and no one actually buy them, when they can guarantee that if they put Super Mario 64 or, you know, something like that, they're gonna get a bunch of copies sold.
Yeah, but even things like Steam, they've put a lot of really, really crappy titles on there that'll never sell, but they still put them up, and they're still hosted, and they're still on sale. Yeah. So it just comes down to a matter of, I guess, do you want to have quantity over quality, or just focus on specific quality titles? So I see your point. I feel like there are a lot of games out there that are underrated, that are missed. Like
a niche market. Like
yeah,
just a few
I mean, I'm sure they're out there. None come to mind at the moment, because it's been one of those days.
Yeah,
but
it's just, there's just so much content, man. It would really just be...
And you're absolutely right.
I don't think it would be lucrative as if they just, you know, release their main hits.
Yeah, and you're correct there. I mean, all right, well, let's go to the second question then. Could it have been a revolution in of sorts in terms of console gaming? So if they had brought all that content in, all the backlogs from the NES, all the backlogs from the SNES, all that stuff, would that have revolutionized the home console? Because on the PC, I mean, you have all these emulated titles
get them at any second,
right? Which isn't a good thing because they lose money on sales that way. Would it have been a way for people who mod their consoles and people who love to get their hands on old games? They could turn their Wii into an old emulation machine of sorts.
Yeah,
just by doing that.
Yeah,
So
Well, let me hear what you think about it first, and then
I think it could have been. I mean, if they would have put the whole backlog on there, that would have been awesome. Let people like sell bundles of old games and things like that. Let people purchase really massive amounts of games for a nice cheap price. You're still making money off of it.
Yeah.
You sell, 1,000 of those bundles for $3. That's $3,000 off of games that are otherwise sitting doing literally nothing.
yeah,
And I know there's a lot of licensing involved with that because they got to get the publishers, the people who own the rights to those IPs to clear it and split the profits with them and whatnot. But on their own titles, even, like I said, there are some titles that they don't even have released on Virtual Consoles.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it could have really made a big difference in combating piracy because I feel like people are more prone to buy if the price is good
exactly,
and the games are accessible than if they had. Oh wow! I just lost my train of thought. Well, I need to drink more Red Bull. But I feel like that they could have really hit the nail on the head by just making them available, and it would have it would have really taken a hit out of this piracy that they see to get them money based on these games that were being pirated all the time before.
Yeah, so you feel like just more content is what you're looking for. That you would feel that it would revolutionize.
Yeah, and if they're smart with their marketing and the way they sell them and how they package them, I think that they could really, really make some money off it.
Yeah, I definitely think anything that has some backwards compatibility. Compatibility.
Wow, that was mangled. Backwards compatibility.
Compatibility.
There you
My
go.
bad, sorry
That's a
about
good
that.
word.
But anyway, I think that's never a bad thing because everyone loves to play. Just be able to pop in their new console and play something that they played back in the day.
Yep.
I think Nintendo has done a good job with that.
Yeah, overall, I think it's done pretty well.
They have all the titles that everybody loves, and most of the main things that people play they have up there. But I'm sure they could always add more. I'm sure there's still some that still had a pretty decent following.
Yep.
But they just don't feel. Or I think that they don't feel like they could make the money off of it.
Right.
But you can't go wrong with having more content. You really can't.
I agree. I agree with that. So
I don't know if it would necessarily revolutionize because I feel like that people have been doing that for a while.
Right.
Like PS2 wasn't that backwards compatible, and
Well,
I guess maybe if
I thought the
it's all
PS2
digital.
the PS2 could play all the original PS1 games.
Yeah,
couldn't it?
backwards compatible.
Oh,
right.
yeah. The PS3 wasn't though
No,
at
no,
all.
no. Well, the first one wasn't it?
Yeah, I actually
Or
own
when
one of
it, like,
those.
first
you could
came
play
out?
all the PS2 and PS1 games on it. Yeah.
Yeah. But since that first came out, you need to. Everyone's been on that bandwagon ever since then. Just trying to set because they know that people love to play their old games, and it's hard to you buy a new console and then everything you spent all the games that you loved and enjoyed are gone and you can't play them anymore.
Right.
So that really I think affects how people feel about purchases. And for Nintendo they have it to where you could buy all those old games, even for parents, buying their kids it, their parents are going to get to play games that they remember playing as kids.
Right.
So
and that's a feeling of empowerment there,
Yeah.
because then they get to experience what you experienced.
Exactly. Yep.
Gives
So
you
I
more
think-
links to your children's.
Yeah, I guess in a way, I can't say that it revolutionized.
No?
Or it could have revolutionized it, but
You think
It
it
is
would have
a
made
good
it?
thing.
You
It is a good
yeah,
thing.
so you
Yeah,
think it would have been good? Okay. Well, I guess the final question is: do you think Sony does it better than Nintendo in terms of back catalog games? Because now that they have PlayStation Now,
where you can stream.
where you can stream a lot of the old PS2 games, and it's not a lot of them yet, but it's growing.
and there's PS3 on there
And
too. Isn't
there's
there?
PS3 games, and you can buy the PS1 games for the.
Sorry, I felt like they were being abandoned.
George just kind of started waving at the camera. I think he's losing his mind. So, I feel like they do a good job with the PSP Classics or the PS1 Classics that you can also play on your PSP.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like they do a good job with that in regards to their back catalogs with the
Have you
PS2
tried
and
any
PS3
of the PS Now?
Yeah, I was in the beta, so I got to try it out, and it worked fairly well. It was a little laggier than I was hoping because it kept telling me to plug it into an Ethernet cable, and it's like my PS4's on the other side of the house. I don't want to run a 100 foot
Ethernet
cable or anything. So it was something else to have to be told over and over that you were going to have degraded performance because you're on Wi-Fi, and it's like I run wireless N, and I've got extremely fast internet, so it was kind of annoying to have to deal with that.
It's only in the beta, but
now
that it's out, I played God of War Ascension.
Did you?
And beat it on playing, and it streamed very well.
How much does it cost to rent it?
It depends on the amount of time. Like you rent it per like 1 day, a week, a month. I think it was like maybe like $4 for like a week.
Yeah.
Which I think that's plenty of time.
Yeah.
For me, I'll be able to get through God of War Ascension in a week, no problem. If I really sat down and played it.
Right.
Not 100%.
So do you feel like they do it right then? In that regard?
It was good. It worked really well.
So the rental idea is a good one then.
Yeah,
you think?
and I like that it's cheap to rent for 7 days. Each game, it's not the same flat rate. I don't think per game.
Right.
Each game
varies.
will have a different. Yeah, exactly. It
probably
varies
based on platform or something like
exactly,
that. Yeah.
Yep. So I didn't feel like I was getting ripped off.
Nice.
And I feel like I had plenty of time to play it. The controls were responsive. Every once in a while, I would get something telling me that.
Yeah,
the quality
would drop.
Yeah, it would drop, but never to the point to where, it was unplayable. It would just drop the fidelity
video
down a little bit.
Okay, all right.
But the controls and everything still played well. And when it, would be at running normally, it looked really nice.
Oh, that's good. Because in the beta, I had the opposite experience. Like it would just be degraded the whole time, and I'd occasionally have it pop up to high quality.
Oh no, it wasn't like that for me. And my internet, you have way better internet than I have. So I think for you it'd be perfect. I think you should check it out.
Yeah, it'd be worthwhile.
Maybe
I do love playing
Colossus again.
I do love playing them old games.
Yep.
Yeah, they're worthwhile.
It worked well. I liked it. Yeah, I think they're doing a good job so far.
Well, that's fantastic. So you'll have to excuse me for a second. I have to fix something on the computer. So, hi internet. We're
getting up in your face.
Technical difficulties.
We're all up in your internet face. You might not want to get that close to them. You don't want them to see what the real you looks like. You got to keep that fake mask, hidden. I'm going to adjust my mic, too, actually, while he's doing that, guys. I'm sorry.
All right, I think we're good. Technical difficulties this time. I apologize. We try to roll things without too much editing here on Insert Coin Theater.
Yep.
So for new listeners, I hope you understand. We like to have good discussion
you
without...
You get to see a little behind the scenes now, too.
Yeah, a little bit of fail.
Actually doing stuff.
A little bit of fail. So,
we need to do like Dead Mouse and get the tattoo fail or whatever he's got right here. Every time he messes up in a show, he'll go like this.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Dead Mouse is awesome.
Well,
we'd like to interview you.
So pretty much how we do things here on Insert Coin Theater, for those of you who don't know, is we like to do minimal editing. Because when we have guests and such, we like to keep it real.
So real.
Well, we feel that it's more genuine to have a real discussion and not splice it up and risk losing the point of things as we modify things. So the only real editing we do is when we go to a song and we put the song in and all that stuff. So
put the song all the way in.
Yeah. Wait. That's for after hours.
I was about to say late night episode.
So pretty much that's kind of how we do things. So I apologize for that little hiccup.
Here's another wave.
George is waving at the camera again.
This is the first time I'm ever going to be seen in real life.
You've been on YouTube before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't even start.
Actually, that one thing had like 12,000.
Well.
But then it got flagged because
of the music.
Pitbull didn't like that I was getting so much so much hype off
so
of
much
him.
Free exposure for his music. So.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Good. That was a good time, though.
You did what, grills?
Yeah.
And you had like bubblegum wrappers on your teeth or whatever?
Yep. Tinfoil, actually.
Tinfoil.
We went all out. My parents had just bought tinfoil that day. I was like, perfect.
I'm going to do this. Grills.
It's so funny because when you do something like that, those comments spiral into terrible stuff.
How many horrible comments did you have?
Thousands.
YouTube is like the home of terrible comments.
It didn't take like maybe 4 comments before it just spiraled into the worst shit you could read. I was just like,
it gets pretty bad, man. Yeah, it gets pretty bad.
But all I could do was laugh.
Yeah, you just gotta laugh it off.
It was funny as hell.
Yeah, you gotta laugh it off. I mean, that's all you can do. So, all right, so let's move on to our
hate.
Exactly. So let's move on to our next. Oh, hey, look, a comment on YouTube about how fat you are before we even posted it.
They knew it was coming.
Preemptive posting.
My fat dar's tingling. Some fat guy's going to be on the internet soon.
All right. What does Nintendo have that Sony and other handheld makers don't in the handheld market?
Our childhood.
That's not too far off, right? I mean, that's
they got our childhood by the balls.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Is the whole childhood thing is.
I grew up from like the start Game Boy, the original Game Boy.
I grew up playing the original Game Boy.
With the green screen.
I had a DMG-01, and
Nice.
I played the crap out of that console, like till it fell apart.
Yeah,
and
those things were bricks.
And
too.
I got Pokemon Red on that.
Nice.
And that was when Game Boy Pocket was out. You remember the Game Boy Pocket?
Oh my god!
Yeah, and all my friends had Game Boy Pockets. I had the DMG-01, and I was rocking that thing.
You were just like, what up?
Yeah, it was like four double A's, and the battery life was like 5 minutes.
Like, the Sega Game Gear takes 6 double A's,
and that thing literally lasts like 10 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, you beat like one level. Need more batteries.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
Games were fun though.
They were.
Sonic Pinball was like
Sonic. It was Sonic Spinball.
Spinball.
That was. Get it right.
Sorry.
How you can't call yourself a gamer?
I ran out of double A's.
You only got Sonic Spin.
Yep. And then I needed new batteries. God, my parents used to be mad at me. Mom, I need 6 more batteries. What? Go to your room.
We just bought you 50 batteries.
We got 700 pounds of batteries a day. What is this? You're addicted. And then they would spank me.
Is that how that really went?
I feel like that was it. That was accurate. I think my childhood.
Was it?
No,
I don't
remember. I
believe
got beat too much. They beat my childhood out of me.
That's terrible. That's horrible.
Made me the man I am today.
You're a man?
No, I'm a lady boy.
No offense to any lady boys out there.
Yeah, we love you, lady boys.
Please listen to our show.
Yeah. Anyway, lady boys, boy ladies, whatever.
All right,
Somebody
so
watch.
They have gimmicks. Nintendo has a lot of gimmicks, like the 3D.
I think they're always trying to innovate with the handhelds.
They are.
Which I like.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. I mean, if you look at like the PSP was nothing new. I mean, it was literally visually it was the best handheld console out there.
It had more power.
Yeah, but it was pretty much on par with the PS1, I think. Maybe a little better than the PS1 at the time. And it was a good console, but it just didn't have the games to back it up.
Yeah,
that
there wasn't
the Game Boy
library
Advance
wasn't very well.
And the Game Boy Advance SP had at the time, and then the DS came out. And
it's just, like
with the
I
dual
said,
screen,
they had our childhood, once those Mario games come out or anything like that, I'm on that, like, stink on a baboon,
Though I think one thing that Sony's done right with the Vita is the touch on the back.
I actually have never played the Vita. I don't know anything.
I've got one.
Like, what is the usefulness of having a touchscreen or a touchpad on the back?
It actually lets you. I mean, it's just like on the PS4. It lets you. It gives you some options that you wouldn't normally have in a game. You can tap the back.
But
you can actually.
Can you reach it easily? I feel like it would be almost
it's right where your fingers rest on the back.
Okay.
So it covers almost the whole back, and you just
scroll and stuff,
you just move your fingers or tap or whatever you need to do on the back of it, and it registers it, and it's pretty nice.
Like, do they integrate it pretty well with games or?
Yeah, I think it. I mean, they don't use it a whole lot. Like, there are a lot of really simple games, but it's used in a few. I can't remember off the top of my head. I've played a couple that use it, but it's very similar to the PS4's touch screen on the front, where it's just like, why would they do that? It's stupid. And then you start to see how it's used, and it's like, oh, that's not too bad.
Do you feel like they're utilizing it enough, or do you feel like they could probably do more things with that you would enjoy?
I think that they're not utilizing the entire Vita enough. There's not a lot of games out there for it, and that's my big problem with the Vita, is there's just really not that big of an amount of titles.
Yeah,
very
small.
The 3DS is just blowing it out of the water. I mean, there's absolutely
always content for that. And all the stuff. So they keep making reiterations of games, but they're good.
Yep.
It's like every time they come out with a new Mario game, it's not the same Mario.
Right.
Not that I mean like it's not a Mario game. I mean in the sense that they're adding something that wasn't there that feels good in that universe. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like it matches really well, which is that I don't know how they do it. They just always can make another one that I enjoy.
Right. Yeah.
Like Galaxies and stuff, Mario Galaxy.
Yep, Super Mario
Galaxy. That was
Galaxy.
so much more than just a base Mario game, but it was just incredible.
Yep.
I don't know how they do it. They have the good IP. That's that.
So why do you think that that Nintendo's so successful in the US when Sony's having such a hard time breaking into the market here? Now, let me give you some background, because in Japan, the Vita is pretty popuer. I mean, the DS is extremely popular over there, but
I feel like they probably have more content, more games.
Well, there's I'm pretty sure there's quite a few games on the Vita over in Japan, but we don't see them because there's not a lot of people who port Japanese games, and they need to, because some of those games are just truly interesting.
Yeah.
And they have some of the most interesting gimmicks and interesting mechanics that you'll see in gaming. And I'm not undercutting U.S. developers, because we come up with some really good games over here too.
Yeah, that's just.
But there's a lot in Japan that we never get to
market,
see.
yeah.
That's right. So, when it comes to being able to break into our market, I think the biggest problem is just the brand recognition. I mean, everybody's like DS. I mean, that covers the 3DS,
the second
the DS,
you say that, everyone knows
the 2DS. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, it's so awesome! We're gonna do that." Whereas the Vita, do we say Vita? We don't know.
Vitamins.
So, so we kind of run into that. I mean, the same thing happened with the Wii at first. The Wii came out, and everybody's like, "What's a Y? A Wii?
What's a Y?"
Wii? And then it exploded. So it quite depends, I think, on a little bit of luck, a lot of marketing, which I haven't seen a lot of for the Vita, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, no. And I don't even really feel like Nintendo needs any more marketing. You say Nintendo or Mario, and
everybody's all over it. Yeah.
Everybody knows what that is.
Or you say Zelda.
Yeah.
And everybody's
any
like,
of that stuff. Exactly. They're going to know exactly what it is. They just...
Who's the girl that Zelda tries to rescue?
Exactly. I think it's like I was saying. They got our childhood by the balls, man.
They do. I agree. And I think that
is pretty much everything that I know from...
And I just think Nintendo is the quintessential handheld.
Yeah, they
always
just been around. They're tried and true.
Well, come on, man. What about the N-Gage?
No. Get out of here.
You remember the
Get
N-Gage?
off the show.
Do you remember that thing?
Yeah, it was
that
phone and a
horrendous. And it had like 5,000
What was it, Nokia
buttons.
or something?
I think so. And it had like 5,000 buttons. It was terrible.
Yeah, well, no. Get
there
that
were
thing
no
away
games
from me.
for it. Yeah, it was horrible. Oh, that should have won. That should have been the best console ever. This is your fault, America.
America, you did this. Are you actually excited about the new DS?
The 3DS XL?
No, not the XL. There's like a new one with a little analog stick on it.
Yeah, that's the XL. The 3DS XL.
Oh, but the last there's 3DS XLs out right now before that one. They're called 3DS XL.
No, those are just DS XLs. There was no 3DS XL yet.
Yes, sir. Alex has one right now.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And then I'm wrong.
This is like it had the only thing that's really different is
they must be calling it like the new 3DS XL.
Yeah,
or
I think
something
that's
like
what.
that.
It might be like the new 3.
Which is really confusing.
I don't know. I think I read or something.
Unless
It has
it's
more
like the
processing
XLI
power
or
or something like that. And that little teeny like analog stick.
Yep. And that's supposed to be awesome. Which I believe it. It would be nice to have.
Oh my
a
gosh!
C-stick.
It would be really nice, just because that could change everything. Like imagine a shooter like that.
Oh,
you could actually have shooters
finally.
now.
That would be about time.
Work
That'd be
well
fun.
because you could actually aim with the other analog stick.
Because I get kind of tired of a D-pad.
Yeah.
For everything, which is one of the things I really like about the Vita. Is that it has an analog stick.
DS has analog stick too, just the one left one.
So they're gonna have the two now.
Yeah, it'll be the normal left one, and then like a little tiny one,
right,
on the right
Man,
side by the buttons.
Yeah, I'm losing my mind, man.
Do you know what a DS is?
I don't know. I've got a 2DS and I play it.
You're out of whack,
man. I'm all out. I need more Red Bull.
But first, you don't succeed, Red Bull. But
drink all the Red Bull.
Yeah,
product placement.
I need to get another DS.
Yeah,
I traded mine in to help me get my PS4, but now that I have that, I need a DS again.
Yeah. Hey, it's good console, man.
Yeah, and Majora's Mask just came out.
Yeah, and did you see the Majora's Mask 3DS that they released with it, the special edition one?
Mm-mm.
It's beautiful. It's like gold with the Zelda, the Legend of Zelda logo on it, and
oh, nice. Like Majora's Mask logo,
I think so. I think that's what they put on it. It's either way. Like I just looking at it with that just like sharp gold is just it's beautiful.
Yeah, my nephew Alex, he had like the old 3DS XL that was gold and it had just the Triforce on the front.
Yeah,
that was a really nice one.
Now it looks really good.
And now he's got the blue one that's Smash Brothers.
Oh, that's so cool,
so awesome. It's got like all the.
Doesn't that have the art in like just straight white in the back? Or is
It's
it
blue
full
and it's
color?
like black.
Black.
The
Okay,
color-
I think the other one was white.
sketches. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too.
It was
Oh,
red
and
or something like that.
GameStop's. I don't know if it's GameStop's exclusive. I think it is, but they have one that looks like an NES controller.
Oh,
Like
that's so awesome.
It's like the NES controller around the front. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
oh my god!
Did you?
I want it.
Sony did a classic PlayStation themed PS4 for the 20th anniversary of PlayStation.
Really classic? How?
It was that exact same gray color as the original
Oh,
PlayStation, and
that's
it had like the
cool.
same design. And then it also came with a theme on it that looked like the original PlayStation. It had like that PlayStation style. The
That's
original
really
PlayStation.
cool. I'd never
That's
seen
sweet.
that. I
Yeah,
want to see that.
it was a limited run, but it was really cool looking.
Yeah,
so
that
yeah,
is awesome.
yeah. So I'll show you that later.
Yeah,
So.
I'm glad they have varieties too, like in the controllers.
Yeah, I can't stand having one color for every
Yeah.
controller because you don't know which one's yours.
Exactly.
Right? So
Like, that's why I got the blue one, so I can be
Yeah.
like, don't touch it.
you get the crappy
You get
green
the
one or
poopy
whatever. I hope you like having terrible things because
Yeah.
you're terrible.
Your face makes me sick.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and listen to a song.
Yeah, we probably should.
Yeah. I think we're about the halfway point. I don't know how long we've been recording.
Guys, are we at the halfway point?
10 years?
You
20
tell
years?
us. You tell us right now. I said.
YouTube, tell us the answer. God,
know.
YouTube sucks.
I know YouTube. You guys.
Screw you
seriously,
guys.
Get to it.
Get your stuff
It's getting
together,
old.
man.
It's getting old here.
I'm disappointed.
All the disappoint. All of it.
All right, so we're going to be hearing the song Sonic Doodling. Doodling.
Doogling. Wow. Is that like yodeling, but for
I am
Sonic?
so sorry. Sonic
Doodling.
Doodling. No, doodling. Like drawing. I
don't
just
know,
can't speak.
I feel like I like the other one better now. It's got to change.
Yodele-hee-hoo.
That was haunting,
Ricola.
man.
You remember that?
Amazing. Yeah, it's Krook de Krof. You don't remember that? They're like, it's like a Scottish
What?
in the commercial. Like I don't remember where they're at. It's like a Norwegian spice blend, and the guy's like, it's Krook de Krof. I was like,
What?
all right, dude, we get it. Krook de Krof. We got it. Where's the Ricola?
That's
My throat
fantastic.
is hurting.
I have never seen that before.
Oh my God, who are you?
I don't know.
Krook de Krof. Right?
What are you even saying?
Krook de Krof.
All right, so this is Sonic Doodling by a UK artist, Zigauche.
For some reason, every time you say that, it makes me think of Zigauche.
Zigauche. Actually, I apologize. It's Zigauche.
Wow.
Yes,
You're just...
Zigauche. Yeah, he's never going to ever talk to us again.
There goes all our
I
reps.
suck. Sorry, man. So it's actually artist Daniel Stoker, and he is a freelance video game. Yeah, he's a freelance video game musician from the UK. So
Nice.
if you need some game music, check him out at danielstoker.jimdo.com. That's danielstoker.jimdo.com. And
And the
he's,
UK's awesome.
yeah, and he's actually pretty freaking great.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a
he's the greatest.
yeah, he's fantastic, and his rates are actually pretty good. They're better than a lot of
Get
artists.
it, girl.
Check him out if you're looking to get some game music made, and if you're just looking for some
To listen to some game
some
music.
some booty bumping.
some pop lock and dropping chip
Exactly.
tunes.
That's right. Some pop,
Them girls get rowdy.
some pop and lock and dropping chip tunes.
Yeah.
Is that how that goes?
That's gonna hit.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z's gonna be saying that soon.
Apparently, he's got a new album coming out. He's not sure when it's going to come out, but you should check him out. SoundCloud.com/Zigauche, which is Zigauche. And if you need some help
Do it
if you
now.
need some help finding that, it's going to be in the show notes on the website or in the description on YouTube. The
On
tube
the
of
tubes
the
use.
Yes, indeed.
The used tubes. That
So
sounds weird.
check him out, and we're going to go ahead and listen. This is Sonic Doodling.
Welcome back. That was my drum sound.
That was epic,
wasn't it?
man. That was
Actually,
amazing.
I think that's supposed to come after a joke or something, isn't it?
Was that
Like, and she
What-
went to
what?
the house. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that,
take it
guys.
to
I'm
the
sorry.
house?
All the way to the
To
house.
the house.
Cause it's business time in the house.
So that was Sonic Doodling by
Flight of the
Zigauche.
Concorde.
Indeed. It's business time. All right, that was Sonic Doodling by Zigauche. And he is actually he's got such good music out there.
Yeah,
So
great song.
check
too,
him
by
out.
the way.
SoundCloud.com/Zigauche. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah, man, we
We
appreciate it.
appreciate you.
Especially you, right
And
there.
You, the person sitting there at
specifically
the
your
screen.
computer.
Yeah.
You.
Or the person listening in their car. We
Yeah,
love you too.
You too.
Yeah, YouTube.
You too on YouTube. I just created a thing.
You just blew my mind.
We're about to break the internet.
my mind is leaking
Like
out of
Kim
my ears.
Kardashian.
I'm glad I have these headphones on because my brain would just be
you
oozing
gotta
out.
just stuff it back in. That's the only way, man. Isn't it? That's like super surgical. That's how they do in brain surgery.
Is that how that
They
works?
just take a Q-tip and be like, get that brain back in there. He didn't need this half anyway. Sorry. I was saying he's dumb.
All right, so I gotta ask, what do you think the next thing that Nintendo's going to come out with? Do you think they're going to come out with a home console or a handheld console next?
Well, I think it's probably going to be... I'm going to say home console because that new DS just came out. What I think they need to do, okay, is come out with a console and let's just be done with this gimmicky stuff.
Just do
We don't need a controller with a screen.
a solid gaming console.
We don't need motion. You know,
let them be gimmicky on the mobile, right? Is that what you're saying?
exactly. Like, I want a legitimate next-gen console.
Yeah,
I'm talking about power of like an Xbox One or a PS4.
more powerful.
Could you imagine? Well, even so, but I mean, like, just on that same kind of level. Could you imagine the fidelity of like a Mario game or a hyper-realistic Legend of Zelda game?
I mean,
1080p,
they've
60
dabbled
frames.
with the ideas of that with Skyward Sword, wasn't it? Not Skyward Sword, the one
Twilight
before
Princess.
Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Where it was like realistic and
Which I love.
it was beautiful.
Like,
I
with
love
that fidelity, man, imagine that 1080p, you know,
Well,
60
you
frames.
know the Wii U can put out 1080p now.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they're not pushing that like they
I don't
should.
know. Yeah, I agree.
You know,
But
look how much everything has just
60
been about the
60
controller.
frames a second,
you know?
120 frames a second on 1080p would be
just
mind-blowing.
and have it like hyper realistic.
be life changing.
Just
is what
look
it would be.
like, oh, man, that would be incredible.
Yeah,
it would be so good.
It'd be amazing.
Or a Star Fox game with hyper realistic graphics. Are you kidding me?
you know what I think Nintendo needs to do? They need to port some of their games over to mobile.
I think they're starting to do that, aren't they?
They're looking into it from what I hear, but I would kill to be able to play a Star Fox game on mobile. Like that would be fun.
Even just Star Fox 64, I would play on mobile.
Heck yeah, I'd be all for that.
Doing
That'd
barrel
be great.
rolls for years.
Dual barrel roll.
But yeah, like I said, if give me a next gen console,
Slipping
and I will buy it so much of it, like all of it.
All of it.
But yeah, so what do you think, man? Do you think they should just
No, I
try
actually
to find
that
their
was my
gimmicks?
thought exactly. I think that they need to, because the Wii U is a great console. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good titles coming out for it. It's taken them forever to get anywhere with it, though.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
Slow
like,
going.
That came out. Didn't that come out before the Xbox One and PS4?
Yeah,
And
way
they're
before,
just
I
now
think.
starting to get their really good titles out for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy to me. That's
Yeah.
taken them so long to come out with really good AAA titles for it. And that's kind of, I feel like it's kind of what the Wii suffered from, was that they had this huge library of games, but the games were all gimmick,
Yeah, that's
carnival
what I'm saying.
games
I feel
or
like
whatever.
they just
And
leave the gimmicks behind.
yeah,
you know? Because
leave it behind.
when the Wii U was coming out and they were announcing everything was about the controller. That's all they were talking about.
That's
the console was just like this little white box, always like in the corner of the screen, you know, tucked into the
and then
entertainment
you had that controller
center.
with the screen on it and the game playing.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
It
was always
which is
controller.
great. It's a cool concept.
Yeah, it's just.
But
I
have a mobile device. I have an iPhone. I have a 2DS. Why can't I use one of those to interface with the Wii U and play it from there? Play it from out and about.
Yeah.
Something like that. Why do I have to buy a special controller to be able to play, you know, Rayman Legends while I go to the bathroom?
Yeah,
whatever.
take a
It's silly. It's kind of it's just it's
well,
dumb
I think
to me.
they're just. I feel like they're trying to be too broad. They're trying to get too many, you know, different crowds of people. You know, they're trying to not leave out like the family casual, you know, grandma buying their nephew or something, you know.
They're still going to buy it.
Yeah, I think they need to start honing more towards the hardcore.
Well, and I tend to agree with that because if you take a look at gamers as a whole, pretty much it's people who like to play games. Casual games are still going to make their way onto consoles. I mean, look at games like Bejeweled. They've been around forever, and they appeal to everybody. And there will always be games like that. I mean, look at the DS, the 2DS, the 3DS, whatever you want to, you know, whatever.
Whichever DS.
Yeah, whichever DS you're on. There's always been games like the Professor Layton games. There was a Henry Hatsworth game, the Phoenix Wright games. I mean, they all appeal to a casual audience, but they all have mechanics that appeal to more hardcore gamers. So why not either focus that on a console that is more generic, and by generic I mean just does the basics well and then offers up a killer game library, rather than putting all your time and money and effort into this controller screen that doesn't necessarily even get utilized all the time.
Well, and I think too, a lot of when the fans who were with Nintendo from the beginning are now adults and have jobs and stuff like that, and they're looking for a more mature, you know, thing to play.
And I think
I'm not saying they should fully cut away from like family-oriented stuff.
Right.
I just mean it needs to be more catered toward the people that are gonna spend them, like the people that were with them from when they were kids. You know, when are gonna be the ones putting out that money now to get their console.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those same people grew up and said, "Hey, the PS3, Xbox 360, the Xbox, the PS2, that offers me what Nintendo doesn't, and that's a mature gaming experience."
Yeah, exactly.
They have games like SOCOM and Call of Duty and things like that. And granted, there have been a few Call of Duty games that came out on the Nintendo Wii console, but who in their right mind played a first-person shooter on the Wii?
Yeah, with that monstrous controller.
Yeah, with just like that. It was just too difficult, you know, with a nunchuck and a Wiimote to deal with.
Yeah, and they're like you were saying, those casual gamers are still going to play because, don't get me wrong, like the Mario games that are on the Wii U and stuff, I love. Like, they are so good, and that's still going to be calling, you know, to the younger audience, and, you know,
but
the
that would
trying
play
to
the
buy
same.
for.
I mean, you could make the same thing happen with a PS4 controller or an Xbox One controller. I mean, there's nothing so special about this touchscreen, you know, pad thing that you can't really execute with just one screen. And I find it personally extremely distracting to have to look down at a screen whenever you want to change your inventory or whatever.
Yeah, that's why usually if I played, I only play on a little screen because it's too much of a hassle.
Too much work.
Yeah, I do like, though, how, like, in some of the games, like, I think they did it for Wind Waker, I believe, is the touchpad, I think, was your like, to equip items and stuff. So I always, when that was first coming out, I thought that was a cool idea.
Right.
Before they talked about it, like, I thought that's something they could do and that would work well.
Right.
Which it did.
Yeah.
But they still have those characters that are gonna, you know, draw the family crowd.
Right.
I just think they need to more, you know, make an arrow going towards the hardcore that are going to be really for that console in the long run.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
just give us. We know you're going to make good games. We don't need gimmicks. We're happy to play your games just with a normal controller. I don't need anything else. I'm just happy I'm getting to play the next Mario game.
That's right.
Or, you know, a high fidelity Legend of Zelda or Star Fox or something like that.
I'm right with you.
Which would be amazing.
Yep, I agree.
You know, so they just, come on, guys, just
let's
get
out
a
regular console,
like N64 or
that I don't have to
GameCube,
buy into a gimmick
all,
to play.
Exactly.
Right? Yep. Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
just give me something.
The GameCube
that's-
was an awesome console.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
N64 was
just
a great
regular
console, too.
controllers. That's all
I mean,
we
even
need.
if you do a little bit weird, like a GameCube controller, where it's like a little different,
Yeah.
that's fine. I don't care.
Well, look, the
but you don't need
PlayStation
it
4
to
has got
have
a touchpad and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not saying just
don't not innovate, but
yeah, just don't
focus
go
on
too
making
crazy.
focus on making the console solid first.
Exactly.
Because you guys are still, I mean, Nintendo is still behind horsepower wise than the other
Yeah.
two consoles. And
exactly.
I mean, granted, the new consoles aren't these massive powerhouses. I mean,
Yeah.
PC gaming's still beyond them, and it always will be, I think.
Yeah.
But comparatively, the Wii just doesn't have the same amount of horsepower as a Xbox One or a PS4, and
Yeah.
that's just what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. So
Yep.
yeah, just we need a new system that's not, like I said, not fully just for hardcore people, but you know,
So, what do you think
enough.
they could do for a handheld to improve it?
I don't know, man. What more would you even want, really? You know, what more do you want them to add to it that would actually make the gaming experience better for you? You know,
that's-
they already
that's a
got the
good
games
question.
that are awesome.
Yeah,
you know,
and-
that's,
no, and I
that's
mean,
what
that's-
gives you the most experience is the
That's
game. not,
that's the ultimate question, and I mean that's why I don't really know. I mean, I feel like maybe more cross compatibility with their home console, or
so interaction between
yeah,
like, the DS and the
like
Wii U.
I would love it if games came out side by side where I could. I don't know. I mean,
Well, what
it's
about stuff
far-fetched,
like
but-
PlayStation does with cross-platform
Yeah, I mean something like that where you can like get a classic game on your Wii
and play it on your DS
and
through
just
the
like
link.
and just upload it to your
Yeah.
DS and then boom,
I
walk
think
out
that would be a
the
cool
door.
idea.
And that, I mean, that's what you can do with your PlayStation. I
Yeah,
mean, you
your
have those
PS Vita.
PS1 classics, and you can
Mhm.
upload it to your Vita and just walk out of the house and keep playing it.
yeah,
And you
well,
could
then,
actually copy your game
Yeah.
saves over
well, then
too.
I guess that's what I would say. Maybe they could do that.
Yeah.
Because they already got it pretty much locked down, and
Yeah.
I really like the designs.
Yeah,
of the
I
DS.
do too, and it's comfortable.
Yep.
Maybe more ergonomics. Maybe like because my hands do get a little crampy playing on it
Mhm.
for too long.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it's
really good.
It's a
though.
good console. I
It's-
mean, I'm
it's
not
hard
saying
to
it's
pick
bad. And I mean,
something-
I find the Vita nice too. The Vita's a really nice console. It just doesn't have a
Mm.
lot for it yet.
Yeah, there's
And
not
I
a
feel
lot.
like Sony could really use some of
Yeah.
Nintendo's
Mhm.
guidance. But
Yeah,
That's
that's
just me.
my thing. Then I would have to say maybe cross-buy would
yeah,
be probably.
I guess that would be about it for me too. All right, so let's look at the final question for this episode.
Uh-oh.
The final question.
It's the final countdown.
And this is such a big question, and we
like
don't need
broad
to.
spectrum.
It's massive. It's a massive question, and I mean we're sticking with Nintendo. So, where do you think they're heading in the future? I know we've kind of talked about it throughout the whole episode.
Mhm.
Where do you think they're heading in the near future, distant future, whatever you think? Like, do you think that they're? I mean, for me, I think that they're heading towards another console release
Mhm.
within the next 2 or 3 years. That's just me. The reason that I say that is because of how slow the release schedule has been
Yeah.
for the Wii U.
I might
and-
even think it'll be earlier than that. I'm
Really?
thinking maybe 1 or 2.
I also, in the next 5 years, I think they're going to come out with a new console, a new generation of console.
Oh,
'Cause-
like besides the Wii U?
No, the 3DS.
Oh, okay. So
Like,
you're talking
so
about
the next,
handhelds now. Okay.
the next handheld generation
For-
as well.
in like 5. Yeah,
And
I
the,
could see that.
The reason that I say that is because if you look at historically, every time that they do like a new version of their consoles, they get
Yeah.
one step closer to an entirely new platform of console
Yeah.
release.
Mhm.
Like the DS to the 3DS, they did the DS, then the DSi, then the DSi. They did the XL, so they did the
Yeah.
DS, the DS XL, the DSi, and then the DSi XL. Then they came out with the 3DS,
yeah.
and then they came out with the 3DS XL,
XL,
right?
yeah.
Then they did the 2DS, and now
then
they've done the
this
3DS, the new 3DS XL,
Yeah.
and then and I guess the big difference there. I mean, I think we're overdue for a new console. I think we're overdue. I really do. I
Yeah.
mean, because
For a
they
new handheld? you
yeah,
mean?
I really
okay.
do. Like, I mean, keep the backwards compatibility. They're doing a good job with that because the DS would never, I don't think, have been able to run the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time as well as the 3DS's. 3D aside, visually that game is gorgeous and it runs super solid, smooth. And I
Mhm.
don't think the original 3DS had the power behind
Yeah.
it to really push
Push
that
some- the
those
fidelity,
visuals and all that stuff. So I feel like they're on the verge of something new, and they're just pushing out another console to really help up their sales, and I
Mhm.
think we'll see around in the next couple of years, honestly, in the next couple of years, in my opinion, another handheld console. Just historically going by what they've done.
I think future-wise, I think Nintendo's gonna be around for a long time. You know, the people that work for them,
Yeah, they're not going
like
anywhere.
The
No
people
way.
who make the games and everything like that, they still have that natural talent that they can push them out and still make them just as good as any other
Now,
one.
one thing that I think that we should, I think they should honestly just pull out of the home console market altogether.
I'm giving them one last chance, man.
I would love to see them put the next Zelda or a new Zelda game out on the current gen of PS4 versus Xbox One.
Mhm.
Wouldn't that be amazing to see what they could push out with that?
Yeah,
rather
that's
than
why.
their own?
That's why I'm giving them one more chance. I'm really hoping that they understand now. They can't keep up unless they.
Yeah. And I
give them more horsepower.
want to stress it's not a bad console.
No,
it's just behind.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's just not up with what everything's
it's
pushing
gimmicky.
nowadays.
It's
yeah.
super gimmicky.
That's the last two consoles have been too gimmicky for me.
Yeah.
Like the Wii, everything to do with motion. Now
they don't appeal to actual gamers.
Yeah, a hardcore gamer's not going to want to be doing all that.
Right.
You know, we want to enjoy the story with just basic control. I don't want to have to be flailing or touching stuff.
Right.
I just want to be able to be immersed in the story.
Right.
You know, so
you want to be tied into the story.
Yeah.
In a way that actually affects you, as good art should. And I mean, the Zelda games do a really good job of that. And I think, and the Mario games do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario games will always be more of a heroic type thing, where rescue the princess type stuff.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that because that's
It has its
classic
place,
Mario.
yeah.
That's their thing.
Mhm.
But taking a look at games like Zelda, like, can you imagine a Zelda like with a similar story to like BioShock Infinite, like how beautifully woven that is, and the tapestry
that's what I mean.
involved
Like,
in there?
imagine,
Like, can you imagine playing that like on that engine, like a Zelda game, like not necessarily first person, but like it'd be beautiful.
Yeah, just in like I said, like that kind of fidelity would just be
it'd be outstanding,
stunning. You know, and that's
or Dying Light, like a Dying Light, like instead of Zombie U, they did like something similar to Dying Light. That would have been
they
killer.
just need. Like I said, I'm giving them one more chance, to really, because they gotta know, what people want. They gotta know we want. I can't be the only one asking for more horsepower in a Nintendo system. I can't. That would be too hard for me to believe. And if they just did that, I think that console would explode.
No, I agree. I mean, the reason that the Wii was so successful is because
it was new.
Well, and it appealed to so many casual
A wide
folks.
audience, yeah.
But I feel like the Wii U is not nearly as widespread.
Mm-mm.
I really don't. I mean, I think they're doing okay sales wise.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember the last time I checked, but I don't think they're doing stellar.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still third in the console market. So to really be able to push themselves to that next level, they really need to. I feel like just
console.
Something, and I say generic, something that doesn't stray too far from the norm. I mean, look at the PS4. They didn't really stray that far from the norm. They added the touchpad. They added a speaker in the controller, which aren't gimmicky. I mean, they're actually useful.
Yeah, it worked well.
Yeah, and so far I haven't seen anything that doesn't really work with those. Look at the Xbox One. I mean, it's just everything's a little bit more tuned on their controls.
Yeah.
And everything feels nicer.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got the share feature and stuff like that. Nintendo would really do well if they would follow that
definitely.
lead.
They 100%. That's what they need to be able to.
When you try to be gimmicky and innovate, you become the Dreamcast.
Exactly.
And that's the
you
danger.
Just get buried.
That's the danger. Is that they're just gonna because. The N64 was out and the PlayStation was out and the Dreamcast just missed the mark so hard.
Yeah.
And it was a great console. I just don't want Nintendo to have a swan song. I really don't.
Yeah,
I don't want
either.
them to have shattered fragments like Sega does. And I don't think they ever will with how well their handhelds do.
Yeah.
But I would hate for them to end up being just a publisher on home console.
Yeah,
Because then we'd never see the depth that you can get out of a console release of like Zelda or Mario or something in a handheld, because I don't feel like handheld experiences are anywhere near the same as a console experience, because the console just you're sitting down, whereas with a handheld you're stooped over
right up on
and
the screen.
You're right up on the screen and you get like neck aches and shoulder aches. And
that's why handhelds to me are
hand.
more like a quick play
Yeah,
thing. You know,
yeah.
like you got
Which they don't
5-10
necessarily
minutes.
need to. They don't need to be like a 5-10 minute game, but they
Yeah,
can
but
be,
I mean, like I don't have to be.
you got to be able to digest it in small bites.
Yeah, exactly. With
Yeah.
the console, I'm all in. You know,
Yeah.
big
You're
screen
gonna be playing
right
for
up
several
in it.
hours. You got the
Exactly.
nice speaker system
Mhm.
set up, and you just get to get absorbed into it. Whereas you got this tiny little baby speaker on your DS,
Mhm.
or you've got headphones in,
Mhm.
and you're not gonna be rocking studio like really nice headphones
Yeah.
in that sort of capacity. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna be going out and buying Beats
Exactly.
to listen to
your
your 3DS,
Yeah.
and they're not gonna put the effort into making the sound that amazing.
Yeah, put that much
Because they
quality.
know the best that they're probably going to get is earbuds. So
Yeah, exactly. So it's just they just need to go hardcore, man. Not a Mario game is always going to have that wide audience.
yeah,
But I mean, like for the more hardcore gamers, more realistic. Just we need more power out of it. That's just
Yeah.
what we need.
I agree.
You
I
did
feel like-
good with your Wii. I think they just did so good with the Wii that they felt we got to come up with something that's
yeah,
innovative
just as
again to try
innovative and
have the lightning strike twice.
I feel like it was more gimmicky.
yeah,
Personally,
exactly.
I felt like it was a lot more gimmicky than the Wii. I mean,
Yeah.
the Wii motion controls have always been a thing that everyone's tried to master, and I feel like the Wii did a really good job at that. Which, granted, it was gimmicky, but in terms of a control scheme, it was extremely unique, and every game on the Wii took advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
they really
on the
catered
Wii
and
U,
curved to
you've
that.
got this like huge, expensive controller to
Yeah.
play on, and I mean it's a cool idea, but what is really the benefit of that? Like,
Mhm.
so you can go play a game while someone else is watching TV. How often does that happen?
Yeah,
Unless you're a 12-year-old kid,
exactly. That's
right?
going back to what I was telling you before. That it's just they're trying too hard to cover every base. You know,
Right.
they want to try to spread it as far and wide as they can. To
Right.
as many consumers as possible.
Right.
But by doing that, the people who really put out the money consistently for your
Right.
product,
They're
Stop.
pushing them away a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you just come out with a hard, legitimate console,
Yep.
and still make your Mario games the same way, because you can't make a hyper-realistic Mario game. That would just ruin
No,
it.
I mean he's
know,
got to be a cartoon. He's
exactly.
got to have that style that he's always
his
had.
stylized look.
That's Mario.
But with Legend of Zelda, it's such a rich, environment
Yep.
that I think hyper-realism could really benefit it.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
agree.
like it could make it a much more immersive experience if it's more gritty. Like
Yeah.
like we were talking about, Twilight Princess, had a little bit of that, and it was great. I love
Right,
that
right.
because it made me feel like he was more of a real person.
Right.
Like he was
Rather
more
than
in
rather
the
than a
world.
cartoon.
Exactly. he
Something
was
to be detached from,
really-
like with Mario, where
Exactly.
you love the Mario games in the sense that they're a cartoon adventure, whereas with Link, you want to feel more attached to him because his story is just so epic and
Yeah,
so
exactly.
sprawling.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And with better quality, it'll
Yeah.
just pull you in even
Oh,
deeper,
yeah,
and
blow
really
you away.
get you right in the feels.
So pretty much what they need to do in the future is they really need to step up their game with consoles.
And cater to the people that are actually going to be consistently putting out money for your products.
So near future, new home console, we think.
yeah,
Probably a new handheld, but not too much different.
yeah,
And this will probably be their last home console if they don't make
Yeah,
it cater to everybody a little better instead of just trying to grab casual people.
yeah. And I think
All
that's
right.
what they really got to do is.
Well,
We love you, Nintendo.
yes.
Please just give us a console that's actually not a motion family Hello Kitty adventure console.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Exactly.
All right, well, that's what we got for the show today. So thank you so much for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. Hey,
Yes.
YouTube.
Hey.
Yeah, I did it.
See?
Oh, yeah. All right.
That's the good stuff.
So if you would, please go to our website at insertcointheater.com.
It'll be right here.
Yeah, or...
Just kidding, it won't.
yeah, go check out the site, insertcointheater.com. You can like us on Facebook from there, which is
Please, please do.
facebook.com/insertcointheater.
Because we like you.
Check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/ICT_podcast. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube or
That'll be
you're
over
interested.
here.
We have other shows like Top X and Retro Rewind, and we're going to be doing reviews soon.
Yeah.
We're just...
When we get the time.
Yeah, it's we do a lot of content for just the two of us right
Yes.
now, and we're hoping that we can maybe get some reviews in as we get time.
And we're actually going to fully beat the games before we give the reviews.
That's the idea, is that we really want to deliver a real,
actual,
honest
legitimate
review.
finishing of the game review.
Exactly. And so check us out there. If you would, go to insertcointheater.com. On the right, there is a little link that says Stitcher. Click on that Stitcher link.
Stitcher.
And when you're on there, just leave a little review about the show.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, you get to rate the show, and that'll help other people see that our show is
Awesome.
exactly.
Is it?
Yeah,
Probably
I
not.
hope so. Oh.
We're about to find out.
It'll
You guys
it'll really
let
help
us
us reel in new listeners and expand the show, and that's. I mean,
We love expansion.
we do, and we just love doing the show.
Yeah.
So we
For
really
you guys,
appreciate
man.
you listening or watching. And and a huge thanks to Zigauche.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Thank you so much. And
Great song,
let
too.
me give you his URL again from my nifty tablet here. Oh boy, I'm losing everything.
The future.
It is the future where I have tablets and stuff. So check him out. It is Daniel Stoker. Thank you so much, Daniel. And check him
Thanks a
out,
lot, man. Great
danielstoker.jimdo.com. The link will be either in the YouTube description or the episode notes on insertcointheater.com. And if you need some game music, go to that URL. And if
Check
you
it
just want to
out.
listen to Zigauche's music, it's on soundcloud.com/Zigauche. Zigauche. And yeah, we really hope that you had a good time on the show.
And enjoyed
I
it.
know
You
that we
actually
did.
get to see us now?
Oh, we're so handsome.
Woo! I didn't even shave for this. Look at that.
You look like a bum.
I'm all that
I
is
shaved.
homeless.
I shaved.
I am all that is homeless.
I look styling today.
Look at you, so sexy,
with
big
my,
boy.
with my shirt.
All up in the insert content.
So
Check it out.
thank you so very much. And
Legend of Zelda.
Legend of Zelda. And we'll see you guys next week on
Have a
Insert
good one,
Coin Theater.
guys.
Have a good one.
Insert Coin Theater.